Satnamji. This is the Wisdom Weaver, shamanically holding the collective in love and embodiment. I am so excited you're here. Thank you so much for checking us out, for embracing animal medicine, plant medicine, crystal medicine. Super excited to be sharing from my heart to yours and hopefully making your day a little bit brighter, a little more luminous. And so I'm gonna start with so much gratitude for you doing whatever it is you're doing to better yourself, to be curious, to possibly get out of your box and embrace teachings like the ones that are here and many others out there on the internet. It's really an amazing experience that we have to partake in so many incredible shares. And so I wanted to thank you for doing that. And thank you so much for sharing this video with somebody that might need to hear or feel what I have to share. Thank you so much for checking Be Present Wellness and Be Sassy for tools for your spiritual evolution. And I'm so grateful that I am able to offer long distance classes and private sessions. So thank you so much for being here. And I'd like to start with inviting you to partake in a little bit of Palo Santo medicine here. So I do a lot of smudging and a lot of incense and of all kinds of different amazing Mother Earth gifts. And so Palo Santo is one of them. So I'm just going to invite you to sit down if you're sitting down. Maybe you're standing and doing some chores, but just take a moment to ground and anchor in and just let's just receive 3 nice full breaths and just kind of feel as you can, witness the smoke and this beautiful, amazing wood that I got when I was in Peru. Just allow yourself to feel the energy, the grounding, clearing energy of Palo Santo. And receiving a nice big inhale from the bottom of your belly, the intake, bringing it all the way up to your clavicular chamber. And letting go from the clavicles, emptying the chest, fully emptying the belly. Another couple of more delicious breaths like this. And letting it all go, just any thoughts, any pressure, any tension in your body. Another big inhale. And final, letting it all go. Beautiful. So just investing a moment here and just feeling yourself, maybe touching your heart, touching your arms, feeling that you are here. You are the embodiment of the divine incarnate. You are here to be in the present, to be downloading amazing, wonderful things that only you can bring to the world and bringing them into manifestation in 3D. So this is the gift of you in the flesh. So I'd like to start with when I was meditating and working on the animal medicine aspect, I got the bat. So the bat is an amazing, amazing medicine. Since I started doing shamanic work, I very early on connected with bat, and at many different times. It's not a main totem of mine. And if you don't know what totem is, it's an animal spirit that comes to guide you and teach you about all kinds of different things and whatever it is that their environment is like and their lifestyle. And so we get to witness, observe, and learn and see within ourselves what is not in alignment with what that animal has to offer. And then if we choose to, we can reorient ourselves and learn from the medicine that they have to offer. So bat medicine from early on was very prevalent, and it would come in very powerful times. And very early on, about 17 years ago, when I started my journey, animal medicine was really powerful. It really initiated me into becoming who I am now. And I mean, I could go on and on about it with a gazillion different examples, but let's focus on bat. Bat has always come in massive, either times when I was in transition, when I didn't quite had one foot out of one door and the other foot not quite into the other door. It's sort of like that, you know, you're kind of looking at the precipice and you don't know if you're going to jump in feet first or head first, or if you just kind of, you know, you're still not quite finished with things, patterns, lifestyles, thought patterns, belief systems. And so that was one way that bat showed up for me. And another way was in moments where I was really seriously in initiation mode, meaning parts of me had dramatically died, and new embracing was like right there. So when I was birthing a new self. So the rebirthing aspect of that is really, really powerful. And it's I've had very interesting physical encounters actually with that, not just meditation, not just getting, you know, an oracle card like this one, but having physical experiences with that. So nothing to sneeze at. And I was raised in Brazil, and we have many different kinds of bats, and people are scared of bats in general because they can carry diseases. But they're super amazingly important for that rebirthing aspect. And one of the things that bat symbolizes is that part that you're in, sort of like a cocoon of being in the dark, being the unknown, you know, really being in your mystery. And then all of a sudden you are birthing this new you, and you're coming out of the darkness. So that coming out of the cave, coming out of the womb of the mother is a very powerful medicine that invites you to get on with. And so sometimes we're holding on to old people, old places, old ways of thinking, and that really brings, from that darkness, brings in that light aspect. So really, really important. It is also about facing our fears, facing at the moment, you know, because I've worked with this medicine for so many years, there have been so many times where I was just terrified of the new, of not knowing, of how am I going to pull this off? How do I figure it out? You know, so always trusting things outside of me. And that really teaches you to go within and trust the discernment that you have within yourself, that whatever shows up in your life, when you go within, when you feel and listen to that discernment, it all works out. And you know, so it's super amazing, and it's super powerful to have this kind of alignment and have this kind of guide / teacher, because that's a huge teaching for all of us, no matter how much you've grown or not grown. If you're new to a spiritual whole life that is ahead of you, or if you've been doing this forever, every time bat shows up for me, it's huge. And I'm not surprised, because of this massive full moon and lunar eclipse that we're still kind of marinating in. I'm still feeling the pulse of it. I've been talking to so many clients and students, and talking about how people are just been jolted with this magnetism and the power of this full moon, and a lot of times they're not aware that there was even a full moon, or they don't realize all the ramification astrologically of what's happening, or even about the lunar eclipse. But it is all just huge. So I'm so not surprised that bat showed up right now, and I'm really excited about it. So another thing that the medicine of bat that it brings powerfully is strategies and coping mechanisms. So we become open and more fluid in trying new techniques, new teachings, new ways of looking at it, because again, you're coming from the darkness into this light. And the light is not just bright, and and it's interesting because there's the full moon bringing that fullness, but it's also powerful. It's also engaging in coming out into this luminosity and have this headlight on what it is that we're supposed to look toward and feel into and allow ourselves to let go of. It's a very powerful time to, the full moon happened, but it's still a very powerful time to journal and if you have a qigong, tai chi, yoga practice, set an intention when you sit for your practice, even meditation, EFT, like whatever it is, but the fact that you're working on yourself and doing it, that's really important. But also the mindset that you are really not allowing the old to still grab you, but you're really stepping into that rebirthing and trusting in yourself, trusting your intuition, your own gifts. And having practices is very imperative right now in the way things are rolling. We all need to have whatever practice that is. It could be washing dishes mindfully. It can be weeding in the garden and connecting to Mother Earth and connecting to the sun, to the rain, water, so many different things that you can do, but just mindfully stepping into your life. And so bringing the garden into it, also, bats are incredibly important for pollination. They eat a lot of bugs, so that means, ingesting that whole prana, life force, receptivity. So it's really opening to that feminine aspect of us, the negative polarity. And importantly so, from that opening of the life force, pollinating new things in your life. So what is it that you can cross-pollinate with others? What is it that you can connect with yourself, new aspects of yourself that are developing right now that you are unsure of, and really honing those energies to partake in birthing, watering per se your seedlings, and really weeding out what doesn't really serve you. So it's super, super huge. Another thing that's really groovy to do with bat medicine is meditating. Bats are upside down, so meditating on the hangman card and all of the mystery and bringing in that higher consciousness. It's it's the alignment of the kundalini coming downward through the crown, and so all of that energy coming to the head, and the head, then it's not the monkey mind that we're talking about here, it's the wisdom. So really weaving the wisdom that's already in your heart, but then the mind becomes a tool. It's not a part of you that is trying to get out of what you're supposed to be doing or bring in particular lifestyle patterns that don't really serve you. That's the monkey mind, as I call it, as we talk about it in Kundalini Yoga a lot. We talk about it that way. But really bringing in that wisdom where the mind becomes the center. It's the computer where we distribute the wisdom, and the wisdom really comes from the heart. So it's super huge. And I just can't. There's so many amazing things about bat that I won't go into, but just such a gift. It's such a gift to our planet to have, and there are many different varieties of bats, of course. So that's that. And when I was checking in with the angel cards, we got responsibility, and I have to tell you, when I started all this stuff, all this, Reiki and energy work and shamanism and very early on, I started working with spiritual principles, and responsibility, of course, is one of them. And I had, especially as a Sagittarius, I had a heck of a time with the spiritual principle of responsibility. I carried such a heavy resistance to being responsible. And really, I have had in the past a tendency to want to run away and just skip to the next thing. And that is one of the shadows of Sagittarius. And I'm so grateful that my rising is Taurus, and I worked with the stubbornness of Taurus to just dig my heels and we're staying right here. And I made peace with the spiritual principle of responsibility when I started to really embrace that I was responding. So then that weight of feeling, because what I understood about responsibility was codependency. And codependency is really doing things to save the world, to save everybody from themselves, and not really focusing on myself. So that was my understanding of it. And that's what I did for most part, not really letting people have their own responsibility for themselves, for their actions, for saving themselves. So when I started to work with this spiritual principle and understanding in a very energetic way, working with it, and this principle started to inform me and my nervous system of the idea and the feeling and the sensation that it is wrong to respond for others. It is wrong to make decisions and activate and not allow other people to get messy and dirty in their own process. We all need to get shadow work. It's messy. It's stinky. It's smelly. It's dirty work. It's going in the bottom of our barrel, looking at all of the things that we don't really like about ourselves, and allowing other people and for them to go on their own bottom of their own barrel and do their work and feel into their stinkiness, and trusting, holding the container that whenever they're ready, they can choose to respond. So responsibility is so huge, and not a heavy way, but in a light-hearted way, because when I started to understand that I was so codependent and that I really thought and felt that I had to control all these situations and people, and when I realized, wow, I am really not letting people do their own sacred work. I'm not allowing them to get down and dirty and understand their own shadow. And so I was robbing people from their opportunity to grow and to clarify for themselves what doesn't work. And that takes time. It's a process. It's taken me a long time to understand that about myself. So of course, I can hold a container for others to do that. And that is a huge part of how I have been successful as a spiritual coach and holding 9-month mystery schools. If I got to do the work for everybody that have attended my mystery school, I would be in the hospital. I would be suicidal if I had to save people from themselves. It's when we truly love, when we truly understand how powerful it is to go through our own discovery, activation process, then we want that for the people in our lives. And this is a big subject matter because it requires us to super trust in ourselves that we're being loving by letting people respond to their own stuff. But also, true love is allowing people to work on things, on their own stuff themselves, on their own. That is true love. And so when I say that, it doesn't come from a place of anger and, just shove this on your lap and you get to do this. I'm done doing this for you. It doesn't come from that space. It comes from a super amazing Christ consciousness place where we allow people the gift, the beauty, the radiance to do their own stuff, and then I get to hold that container. So when people say holding container, what the heck does that mean? That's what it means. It means that I believe and I trust in that person's process, even when that person does not believe in themselves, cannot figure it out. I have to trust for them. Because I choose to, because I love them so much, that is my gift to that person, is to trust beyond their understanding that magic is afoot, that the right teacher, the right process, the right book, the right synchronicity, the right music will show up. I remember going through a phase where this was years ago, I got a particular car that had my cell phone connected to the radio, and it was really hysterical because I had this very shamanic experience that so I wouldn't turn on my phone. I would just get in a car, and I'm always zapping into the next appointment, the next thing, because I'm very busy. And I would always get in the car, slam the door shut, and get to check where I'm going. And then all of a sudden, by itself, the radio would turn on, and the perfect kind of music that was connected to my phone, to the, I believe is the Amazon Music app, would just come in, and I would be like, oh my gosh. I mean, this went on for about a year. I never set up the car to do that. I never set up my phone to do that. It would just automatically turn itself on. The radio and my phone would connect with it, and randomly I remember one time I was very upset, and I can't remember what it was about, but I remember I was very upset, and I got in a car and I slammed the door, and I remember there was this song called Say came up, and I just started to bawl, and I was crying because I really needed to hear those words, and I felt that was the day that I really appreciated the craziness of my car the most. And then from there on, I really kind of like, okay, so let's see what song is going to play. And then I started really to expect and connect. And then about after a year, it never happened again. It was just the strangest thing ever. But, I am very grateful with the synchronicities that show up in my life, and I'm very appreciative of things like that when they happen. And then I guess I didn't need those things anymore, and then it just stopped happening. So that's that for responsibility. So responsibility also invites you to not react. It's a very grounding. So there is a whole consciousness about spiritual principles. There is a consciousness. It's a sort of like a living, breathing experience in itself. There is a very precise energetic that ignites a particular quality for each of these principles. Well, there are actually many qualities to them, but it's very particular to each one of them. So discernment and non-reactivity is a huge part of responding. How are you grounded or not when you responded? Because if you responded in a way that was a freaking out kind of experience, you're really not being discerning. You're not being conscious and mindful about what you're doing and what you're working with. And accepting also responsibility for your talents, for your gifts, not hiding them. It's been a journey for me to do these videos. I have had a lot of resistance. I have been very successful with helping people with addiction and recovery. My daughter's suicide attempts and addiction got me to where I'm at, and I have had through the grace of God Goddess, I've had success helping people with these issues and many other different things. And there is still that, mustering the courage to show up, to talk about parts of me that I have held very privately and sacred. And now it's time to, come out of the closet as a shaman and share and open up to sharing the wisdom, sharing the downloads, sharing the trusting that you, the one that is watching and listening, are receiving whatever activations you deserve, that you're opening up to receive, that you feel clear and grounding, all these energies for yourself, and that will make your life better, easier, more beautiful, more radiant, whatever it is for yourself. That is my wish and desire for sure. And so receiving these understandings of how you can be more and more responsible for your gifts and how you can share them with people in your life, with yourself, most importantly, because we're definitely not here to live in a cave anymore. We're here to be global. So it's really, really, really cool. And another thing that showed up that I thought was very apropos as I was working with this particular session to share with you is the essential oil of Arborvitae. So Arborvitae has this really, it's an amazing tree. I was so impressed with dōTERRA. I work with dōTERRA and another company, and called Wisdom of the Earth. But dōTERRA is mostly, all of my oils, most of them are from dōTERRA. So dōTERRA I was so incredibly impressed. The very first year that I went to Salt Lake City for the convention, I landed on beautiful Mormon families that I stayed with that were super welcoming. And I didn't really know, I had never experienced the religion. And these folks, and including the owners of dōTERRA, people associated with the company, I was blown away. The first time, well, actually, all the times that I've attended convention, I stayed for a whole 5 to 6 days. And there were training sessions before the convention itself, and I attended those. And I was so impressed with every leader that spoke, and even the medical doctors, how they were so wired with understanding how energy works, lifestyle. They're not selling essential oils. They are sharing lifestyle changes and understanding that people need better and more than what we've been getting. And abundance and creating personal growth is all part of that. It's in, your health is part of that, but there's so many other things involved, and they bring all of that to the picture. So I remember when they released Arborvitae, I was there, and there was a kit that you bought, and they of course had it so you could smell it in the air, and beautiful expo kind of places and spaces. And I fell in love with this essence. This is amazing for self-esteem. This is amazing for erecting your spine. And I'll never forget when they released a video. So every time that they released a new essence, they had a video with the place of origin and talking to the local folks that harvested it. And because they're Mormon, they're super into creating schools and opportunities for growth, bringing water to villages all over the world. It's really, they do incredible work. They bring their Christian consciousness and their lifestyle of service to the company, which is absolutely profoundly beautiful. So I remember they had a shaman, a male shaman in the woods, and they had him, and he had this beautiful feather headdress, and I was just in tears. I was like, wow, these Mormons are super groovy. I was so sold in the company. That was a pivotal piece for me. And then when I smelled Arborvitae, I mean, I connect with this a few times a week. I have it by my bedside. I have a gazillion of them by my bedside, and this is one that I love in my diffuser, and I love to sleep with it. So Arborvitae is really incredible to as to release, as a release mechanism. It's amazing to release discouragement, fear, and the energy of struggle. So all these energies are very heavy and very intense, and there's this lightness. It's almost like there's a quality of cedar in the fragrance of Arborvitae, and it's phenomenal on you, but it's phenomenal on a diffuser, because it makes the air crisp and fresh, and there's something so uplifting, incredibly uplifting about Arborvitae. So I would say it's amazing for depression and any kind of heaviness, anxiety. And it instills huge, I call it the big T, it instills trust, it instills the energy of surrender, and because you're willing to allow yourself to grow and to evolve. And it also instills a sense of acceptance. It's really important. Acceptance is so huge. It sounds like it's not that big of a deal, but when we accept things for what they truly are, we can then redirect our attention and shift our mindset, create new opportunities for ourselves. If we don't accept certain things about ourselves, certain things about where people are at, we can't have discernment, we can't reroute ourselves, we can't evolve our minds. So really having humility, it's a very humble understanding and energetic to accept things as they are, and to meet people where they're at, knowing that I can only change myself. I can't change anybody else. And it's amazing for the root chakra, because it is all about erecting. It's a very strong, hardy tree. So it's really any kind of issue with the root chakra, Arborvitae is number one. And I am definitely working a lot in the triangulation with sacred geometry, with the Radiant Heart cut of the Vogel that I have here. This is blue-green obsidian from Colombia, and I have the earrings, and I've just been triangulating, and as I'm having them by my head and my ears and then my throat into my heart, and just really working this opening, fluidity, activation of my heart, really directing, because it's a double terminated crystal. It's really groovy. So I invite you to check that out at Be Sassy if you like. We have a few amazing crystals that will fit you and will fit your lifestyle and all of your needs. So I would like to share with you also that as a collective, things are stirring so much. This Mercury retrograde is allowing us to really reevaluate so many things. And I truly invite you to take the time. That's so huge. Make the time, schedule time for yourself to journal, to be in nature, to reflect. I just had a male client today. And I always ask, no matter if I'm doing massage, if I'm doing Arvigo, my abdominal therapy, if I'm doing energy work on a client, I do advanced energy work and shamanic sessions, even in yoga class. When I teach Kundalini yoga, I just had a candlelit yoga for the full moon last night. And I always invite my students, actually I did 2 classes yesterday because I subbed for somebody. So what is your intention? So we're gonna, as we're riding this carpet ride, this yoga mat, let's say, what is your intention for this session? And I always tell people, if I'm doing Arvigo, my abdominal therapy on you, or even a massage, I'm still an energy worker, and there's still energy zapping through me, as me, out of me, onto you. So what is your intention? So for every moment in a day, let's set an intention for how we want to wake up in the morning, how we want to proceed. As I'm taking my shower in the morning, what is my intention? To just wash my body? And it just can be, I just need to refresh and wash my body and ground myself in the morning. Or, wow, I really want to just clear this particular emotion that's been bugging me, and just trusting the water. So we really tune in and we become proactive at every corner, at every turn in our lives, to do something that can shift our consciousness and make us be more present and more aware. So this is the invite for you to connect with BAT, and for you to align yourself with the spiritual principle of responsibility, for you to potentially, if you choose to, maybe purchase some Arborvitae. I could maybe help you with that if you're interested in becoming a dōTERRA consciousness sharer. That would be lovely, and you can contact me. And I'm also going to be sharing a little bit of breath work. So I'm gonna, so if you can sit back and relax, I'm gonna invite you to receive some nice deep breaths. So just kind of feel your root chakra planted into the earth here. So just really feeling this essence of Arborvitae coming in and allowing you to make your spine a little bit taller, just effortlessly. So just inviting this cooling, loving, grounding energy of Arborvitae to be with you right now, and really connecting that root into the earth and allowing Mother Earth to hold you, and just feel the beauty of your body, the non-judgment of your body. Just really feel, wow, you're here. You're here for many reasons, many purposes, and just allowing yourself to feel this essence of BAT. And as you possibly close your eyes and just listen to my voice and this energy of water in the background that I've recorded from a local creek, just feel this freshness and this maybe a little bit of humidity, in this cave where bats are all around you, and this essence that you are upside down and you are really allowing the flow to your head from all of your chakras to flow and to ignite the wisdom from you, your own wisdom that you're wired with, of all your lineage, your guides, all the people that are around you that you can count on. And sometimes if you don't have anybody to count on, you can count on yourself and your ability to connect with your guides, with your teachers, with this energy of BAT right now through me. Just feel this wisdom, feel your heart. Maybe if you want to touch your heart, just feel your hand or both hands on your heart space, your higher heart slightly to the left where your physical heart is at. Just feel that part of you and allow this essence of responding to your light, responding to your bliss, becoming responsible for your gifts and activating those gifts, connecting with the spiritual principle of courage to bring in fluidly this responding aspect to all of the light that you're here to bask on yourself. It's your own light. It's your birthright. So I'm going to invite you to breathe in this knowing, this trusting. Breathe out any doubt, any excuses that you have for yourself. Oh, it's just too late. Oh, I do this tomorrow. Oh, I just don't want to buy this book right now. Oh, I just don't have the money for this training. Oh, I just let go of all of those non-activating, non-igniting energies and just feel you. Feel all that you can ignite right now. Feel the gratitude of what you have already. Just start to feel, just feel the taste of that lemonade that you can make with whatever lemons you have in your life. life. We all got lemons. Sometimes they're rotten, but we can still squeeze some juice out of them. So just feel this beauty. Feel this love. Feel this whatever it is, whatever qualities that you have that you are now honoring. Gratitude for this energy of Arborvitae to show up, to hold you, to sustain you, to help you ground and root these gifts. Gratitude for Palo Santo to clear the way for the mind and the fogginess of the monkey mind to just say, excusez-moi. As I inhale gratitude and I exhale Arborvitae, this crisp, self-sustaining energy, recognizing that the source, the creator, it is here for all of us, for you, for me, for everybody around. So much gratitude for all of the opportunities that can challenge each one of us. These opportunities are here to show us how strong we are. So I anchor in the celebration of how strong we are, and letting go of the anger, letting go of resistance, and simply embracing that, looking at things in the other side of all of that is the empowerment moment. And anchoring in that each one of us have everything already we need within. We just have to trust, we have to believe that we can create magic. We can attract the right people. So I anchor in that you are that right now, attracting the right people, the right circumstances, the right books, the right CDs, the right answers for your questions. You are then receiving. So I'm anchoring in and I'm visualizing this space where you sit back and you receive. You're not going to dig and make it happen. You're laying back and you're allowing these answers to come to you. These possibly seemingly challenging things that we hold on, the pain that we hold on, that with ease and grace, the grip of the fear gets to loosen up. And that you have what it takes within you to loosen up that grip so that you can embrace all of that you have to offer, to embrace, to ignite, to celebrate. I'm so grateful for this moment where I can be sharing with you. I'm so grateful for this moment where you are allowing this rebirthing, no matter how small or how ginormous it is. So grateful for you to be embracing all of you. Releasing these words into the void, knowing they're fulfilled with so much humility and grace. And so it is, and so it shall be. Amen. Aho. Satnam. Namaste. Sarava. And I can just all go on and on. Just embracing this moment of clarity with ease and grace. Much, much love. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing.